think just doing a basic check to make sure that the charity that you're donating to is registered with the Canadian Revenue Agency, that they have, previous reports, that they've existed, that they haven't just kind of popped up in the middle of the night. So that's, I think, a basic thing to ask for. See their website, ask for reports to see. So we're working with the Canada-Ukraine Foundation, which is our sister organization. They're working with agencies on the ground. Their website is cufoundation.ca. There's of course on our website a lot of other worthy organizations that are working with everybody from families to veterans to soldiers. Everything that everybody can do to help is going to make a difference, but it's very unfortunate to see that some people are kind of popping up as scam artists on these things.
Yeah, it always happens. So due diligence is important. We have about a minute left for this segment.
Sure.
Igor, last comment as the Executive Director of the Ukrainian-Canadian Congress?
We're very buoyed by the support that Canadians have for the Ukrainian community. We're feeling it. We're feeling the love. We're feeling the donation. It's a war zone. We need to talk about this and understand this to be a war zone, and it's getting worse day by day. We know that major cities are being blown to rubble, and we need, it's one thing to get refugees to come to Canada, and that's going to be important, but we need to have a solution to this war that will allow these people to go home. And many families like mine have gone through the refugee experience. Many Canadians are coming to talk to us about the refugee experience, and it's not enough to just stand by and watch it happen. We need to intervene as Canada, as NATO, as members of the world. It's incumbent to us to not watch this happen and say never again. It doesn't mean anything if we are standing by to watch it happen.
Michael Chestnut, thank you very much for calling.
Thank you very much.
And let's go one last time to Maria Popova, a political science professor at McGill with, as I've been mentioning, expertise in both Russia's politics and also the politics of Ukraine. And Maria, last comment to you.
I wanted very quickly to pick up on the point about the racialized minorities in Ukraine, and to say that the latest news that I have seen is that a big group of foreign students from a northern town of Sumy has been evacuated with the help of Ukrainian civil society organizations. And the broader point I will make here is that one thing people don't appreciate or don't realize as much is that the Ukrainian state is functioning really well under this pressure, and it's functioning together with civil society. They're still running the trains. All these people, all these civil servants are working in bomb shelters, in houses and villages. They continue to run this war effort, not just the army, but also the Ukrainian state. And as soon as these reports about international students came up, there was a coordinated effort to get them out from the conflict zones. And last I heard, it was achieved. So kudos to the Ukrainian state for functioning under this enormous pressure that they're under right now.
Yeah, that is absolutely extraordinary. Maria, thank you very much for giving us so much time on a Sunday afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
Maria Popova is an associate professor of political science at McGill University, where she does specialize in the politics of Russia and Ukraine. She is in Montreal. It's time for Ask Me Anything, the COVID edition.
Now, with a strong foundation of protection from vaccines, we need to turn our focus on easing societal dysfunction. From now, a lot more robust than we did a few years ago.
Removing the mask mandate does not mean the risk is gone.
People that are wearing masks, we all have a different story, and I hope that people that do wear masks aren't put down. That worries me.
So much has changed since March 11th, 2020, so just over 2 years ago when the WHO declared a worldwide pandemic. Right now in Canada, it's beginning to feel like we're entering a new phase. Restrictions across the country are changing. Many provinces have already lifted measures like vaccine passports, capacity limits, and mask mandates, and many others are planning to do the same in the coming weeks. And while COVID certainly has not gone away, there's now a focus on making our own individual risk assessments, something I think you might have questions about. So we have an expert to help sort through the questions about where COVID is right now in the country. Dr. Alex Wong is an infectious disease doctor at Regina General Hospital, and he's here to take your calls and answer questions. You can ask him anything about COVID. Call us at 1-888-416-8333, 1-888-416-8333. Dr. Wong, thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure, Ian. Glad to be back.
So first of all, and I understand this is different from province to province, and even within provinces, it's different from region to region, but let's talk about the prevalence of COVID in Canada. I remember a time really before Omicron where I was obsessed with the daily case counts in British Columbia. I would wait, sometimes anxiously, to see what those numbers were. And then during Omicron, the numbers were kind of meaningless. You know, testing did not keep pace, and so we just kind of gave up on trying to find meaningful numbers. But right now there's wastewater analysis. People are looking at hospitalizations. How would you describe that right now in Canada in terms of COVID?
Great way to start, Ian. So again, just like with all of the things related to the pandemic, it's not sort of a similar picture across the entire country. We have very different sort of dynamics happening right now depending on where you are. So for example, in Eastern Canada, so specifically not talking about Atlantic provinces, but Quebec and Ontario, for example, they were the provinces that were hit very hard with Omicron initially, and so we saw those big surges happen at the start, sort of in December, early December. That's kind of where we saw it all begin, and they've really kind of come down quite aggressively. You know, there were aggressive measures and protections put in place, which obviously we're going to be talking about those